if you see a light flickering, my light here is flickering. I think I don't know if it's because the bulb is about to go out. I've had this light forever. I probably need to get a new one anyway. So the light's going in and out throughout the video. It's just the ghost that's living in my light bulbs. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica. If you are new here, I'd love if you subscribed. If you like beauty and lifestyle and vlogs and cooking and all kinds of stuff, I do all of that on my channel 3 times a week. I'd love to have you join our happy little corner of the internet. So today I wanted to tackle this tag that's been going around. A YouTuber I'm subscribed to named Jen Phelps is her full name. I will link her channel below. She created this tag. So I'll have the questions below as well if you want to do it yourself, whether it's just for fun for you at home. You just like want to sit in the like quiet of your room and pretend you're filming a video like I used to do before I had a channel. I would do it in my car all the time and people would be like driving next to me like, who's she talking to? Anyway, enough about how weird I am. It's a series of questions just all about drugstore makeup, favorite brands, underrated products, your favorite drugstore dupe. And I'm adding a few extra questions at the end that while I was planning for this, they came into my mind and I was like, I want to do that. I feel scatterbrained today, man. I can't like, whew. Also, I need you to ignore the coffee stain on my shirt. All right, question number 1. If you could only use one drugstore or affordable brand, what would it be? This was hard for me, and I think it's hard for anyone. Like, I've seen a lot of people do this video too. Milani, I think, is mine. But I realized as I thought through this that there really is not a single brand that I felt like that I already have a favorite foundation, favorite palette, favorite mascara, like all the things that I do, all the steps in my routine. There was no single brand, both high-end or drugstore, that kind of fit all of it. So I went with Milani because I was like, you know what? I don't necessarily have a foundation from them that I love, but they have great primers, great eyeliners, great eyeshadow palettes, great bronzers, highlights, and blushes. So many different things like that I felt pretty confident doing it. The only things I would need to find within that realm is a foundation that like actually matches me. I've only tried maybe 1 or 2 of their mascaras and I wasn't super impressed. And I don't know that I've tried their brow stuff in a long time. So those were kind of the standouts. But I just feel like Milani generally has pretty darn trustworthily good, making phrases up, products. I really do. And so that's why it's just been one that I've loved for years. And as they expand more and more, I feel like they keep churning out really good products. And price-wise, typically it's not as high as like Physicians Formula and stuff, which we'll get into in just a little bit. Okay, question number 2. What is the most underrated drugstore or affordable brand? I went with Essence, and this one came to me weirdly fast. And again, it's not that they have every single thing that I would need in a routine. They get a decent amount of love on YouTube. I think generally outside of YouTube, Essence is not as well known, and I really think they have so many good things. So today, I used the Essence Fresh and Fit Awake Primer. I love this stuff. I used the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. I will say I definitely like, now that I've owned this again, I like their lash extension mascara better. And that's gonna be probably the one I'm gonna get next. Really inexpensive, but really good mascaras. The Essence Pure Nude Highlight I'm wearing today, I think is fantastic. They have good blushes. I mean, I just feel like there's enough in that range that is so good, and it's kind of surprising that people outside of YouTube don't seem to know of it. You know what I mean? And it could just be that it's not in a lot of stores and that it's, you know, smaller in the stores like at Meijer, that store near me. I feel like it's such a small area of the shelves too. So that could be a part of it, but really good stuff and really, really inexpensive compared to a lot of the other drugstore brands in the store. Okay, question number 3. What is the most overrated drugstore or affordable brand? This one was easy for me, ColourPop. I think, I know a lot of people said Morphe for this question, but I haven't tried enough Morphe to kind of know. Since I have tried a lot of ColourPop, I felt pretty confident saying this. I don't think the brand is terrible, obviously. I have some favorites from the brand, but I think that generally I have a few things I like from ColourPop, like their eyeshadows. I feel like their lip products dry out and separate weirdly fast, and they have for years. Like every time I try another one, they do the same thing. I've never really fallen deeply in love with the foundation or concealer or anything like that from ColourPop. Their blushes and highlight formula, I don't hate, but it's definitely a very specific formula, and if you're not into that or you don't know how to use it, it's kind of bizarre. And so I just feel like with ColourPop, there's always just a lot of caveats. Like, well, their blush is good if you like this, or their lippies are good if you're on a budget. And it never just seems to be that, like, other than their eyeshadows, ColourPop products are just really good. Does that make sense? It just seems that it's very hit or miss, and that's kind of why I don't know that it's worth the hype. It's maybe a little bit overrated. However, I love that their prices are a lot lower, again, than a lot of other brands, and that they're becoming a little bit more accessible than just having to buy it on the ColourPop site. So it's not a total hate fest for ColourPop, obviously, but it's definitely maybe not worth all of the hype it gets. What's your favorite drugstore product under $5? This was pretty hard, but the first one that popped up, I just kind of went with my gut, and it's actually one I just brought up. The Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This has been a favorite for people for years and years. If you are near my skin tone, it's gorgeous. I have it on now. You can put on like one layer of it, if you will, and it can look really, really nice and catch the light nicely. You can build it up and make it even more. It's like a light medium highlight when it comes to how shiny it is, if that makes sense. And that's what I like. I don't know, man. This is the second one of these I've owned. I'll always have it in my collection. It's one I trust enough to travel with a lot. It's really inexpensive, and I think it's fantastic. And I kind of like that it's really close to my skin tone. A lot of the highlights I typically would use would be lighter than that, and when you compare them side by side, it's like, gosh, the Essence one is kind of dark compared to it. But once you get it on the skin, I think that's where the magic is, because it almost seamlessly blends into the skin color-wise, so then you're left with that pretty sheen without it looking super light in that area. Okay, question number 5 is, what is a hidden gem from the drugstore that no one talks about? As I was brainstorming for this question, I came up with a bunch, so I already added it to my to film list in the next few weeks, so subscribe, stay tuned. I'm just gonna do a video dedicated to this subject because I had so many drugstore hidden gems that I feel like no one's talking about that I was like, I could do a whole video on this. But I am gonna mention one, the first one I thought of, which is newer to me. It's from Physicians Formula. It's their Natural Defense Multicolor Stick. This particular one's in soft pink. It's the blush I'm wearing today. The reason I think this is so incredible, if you are someone that you don't really like cream blushes or you don't get it, or you do like cream blushes, it's perfect for both cases because it's a very thin cream, and I wanna call it a drier cream, but that sounds negative, and it's not dry like it's hard to blend. I will literally draw it on my cheeks and take a kind of synthetic brush and blend it in, and it is seamless. It is seamless because it's not quite as emollient. It stays in place better than most cream blushes I use and love. It's fantastic, you guys. It's the ease of use. I think the packaging is simple and perfect for what you're using it for. I love that it actually stays on. It doesn't look weird in different lighting because it's not a powder, so I don't feel like it highlights texture, and it is fantastic, and I can't believe I've never heard anyone talk about it. This one was a toughie too. Number 6 is, what is your favorite drugstore foundation? My first instinct was to go with this one. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, specifically the dewy one. Years ago, I tried the regular one. I didn't love it. This one definitely has a smell to it, but it's not as noticeable, in my opinion, as the original one, and it's definitely a different smell. It's a more pleasant smell. I hate the packaging, however, I do love this. Today I'm wearing it over that Essence primer I mentioned, which is a little bit glowier. I don't love this with the glowy primer. It doesn't need it because it is a little bit dewy, and I'm emphasizing a little bit because I don't think this is something that you're gonna put on and be like, wow, my skin is so super dewy. But I do think it performs best over a primer that's maybe more pore filling, maybe mattifying, something that's gonna help the longevity, because that is where this, I think, struggles. But I think the way it looks on the skin is so beautiful. It's a medium coverage foundation maximum. You can't get it higher than medium, I don't think. But I feel like it looks really pretty on the skin. I feel like I always get compliments when I'm wearing it. It's super inexpensive. I hate the packaging. It's this paddle. I will say, when I initially tried this, I liked it. And I don't mind the paddle. You can kind of swipe it on your face wherever you need it and then blend it in. It's just getting so messy because of it. And I like to keep my products decently clean. It's just the way I am. And I don't like that I can't keep this clean. Actually, we're gonna talk about 2 other foundation-y products here in a bit in other categories that were definitely contenders for favorite drugstore foundation, because I also love them just as much. I need a breather. By the way, this coffee stained shirt is from Target. I literally saw it on a rack. I was doing some grocery shopping and just like quickly in my mask perusing the clothing aisles. I just thought it was so cute. I love the simplicity of just relax. Kendra Atkins here on YouTube. I love her. I love her like vloggy style videos. She has this shirt that says, I think, Très Bien, and I want it. I need to know where she got it because I just think it's so cute. But I just love these shirts that just have cute, simple little phrases in like a font like this. Question number 7, what products do you tend to buy more at the drugstore versus high-end? This was easy. Mascaras, liners, brow products, sometimes blush. Foundations too. I mean, the reality is there's plenty I buy at the drugstore, but I tend to find concealers that I like better, high-end, Palettes is kind of hit or miss both ways. Lip products, I feel like you could really go either way. And generally, the drugstore is so good anymore. I mean, if I had no high-end makeup, I would miss certain products, but there's just so much good at the drugstore. Number 8, what drugstore brand do you think is overpriced? Physicians freaking Formula. Their prices are so expensive. If you don't get them on a sale, you're spending like $20 on some of those products. But of course, they do have a lot of products I love, and I'm willing to spend it if it's something I'm loving and using a lot, but it is overpriced, I think. You know who else is getting close though? L'Oreal. I just bought something the other day. What was it? Oh, their Lumi bronzer. It's actually what I'm wearing today. It was not on sale. I shouldn't have bought it. It was like $17. Or so, I literally was like, but I really wanted it, so I bought it. And it looks really nice, right? I got the lightest shade and I was worried it'd be too light, but it packs a punch and it looks real summery and glowy. This one's exciting. Number 9, what's your best drugstore dupe? Okay, I just did a drugstore dupes video where I shared like 10 plus amazing dupes that I found. I will link that video in the eye down below. Watch it next or add it to your watch later playlist, whatever. I do dupes videos a couple times a year. I'm already building up my next video I'll do in the next couple months, but this one I just discovered. I need to show you what we're duping first. So I'm not a huge fan of Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadows generally. I tried a quad like a year or two ago. I didn't love it, but then I tried this Pillow Talk quad and I fell in love. Oh my gosh, what a train wreck. So I fell in love with this quad, enough so that I hit pan on it. And it's got this shimmery shade I love. I put it all over the lid, and usually that's just like one shadow and I'm done, I'm out the door. But I love this lighter pink and this lighter brown, and then there's this like glitter top coat that really doesn't look like much, but it is pretty tapped on the eyes. Well, I'm not wearing this today like I usually am. I'm wearing the dupe, which may actually be better. And I never thought I'd see the day. So it's from this new branch of the Revolution brand, and it's their XX Revolution. And so I was only able to find it on the like XX Revolution site. Totally worth it, you guys. Totally worth it. The packaging is gorgeous. Like, it's prettier than the Charlotte Tilbury packaging, and usually Charlotte Tilbury kicks booty in packaging. But it's really, really pretty. Big old mirror, and look. It's a dupe, you guys. So I'm wearing all of the shadows except for this brown one today. I have this shimmer all over from brow bone all the way to my lid. I use this light pink in the crease, and then this is where I think this is better. It's got this crazy shimmery, glittery kind of gold color, and I tapped it on the lid today, and I just feel like it catches the light so beautifully. I think it might be better. Now, I want to give you the huge caveat of I just got this and I've just been trying it out. I'm just like flabbergasted. I'm pretty sure this was very clearly created to be a dupe for this, because there are far too many similarities for it to just be an accident. But I'm not mad about it because, y'all, the freaking Charlotte Tilbury one is expensive, and I'm like, what am I gonna do when I run out of that shadow? I'm gonna need to buy it again. Now I don't have to. So had to mention that. That is definitely right now my best drugstore dupe. And I am betting eventually the XX Revolution will be available maybe like at Ulta or other places. I don't know. I haven't done enough research to speak to that. Number 10, what is the best drugstore eyeshadow formula? Well, I'm really digging that one, the Revolution one, but toss up between the ColourPop ones. I know I was poo-pooing on ColourPop earlier. I like to think that anyone that has little kids in the room and I said poo-pooing, their kid went, I'm 5. This just happens to be one I'm using right now. This is their Blush Crush, and I am enjoying it. I definitely like light pinks on the eyes. It's just something I enjoy. This one's really nice, but I also love their Going Coconuts one. There is truly a ColourPop palette for everyone. Love that, but the other one I definitely thought of and wanted to give a quick shout out. I know I talked these to death. The e.l.f. Bite Size Shadows. These are, what, $3? My favorite is Rose Water, but they also have Pumpkin Pie, which I've been using. It's very new to me. And then Cream and Sugar, which is gorgeous. They, again, have so many different color stories, and I just think they are really good, and you can't beat $3 for 4 shadows that are actually pretty good. Number 11 is, what's the worst drugstore eyeshadow formula? I honestly couldn't really think of one. I feel like everyone stepped up their game. The first thought I had was Almay, but it's been a long time since I've tried their shadows, so I can't even with confidence say that, but I don't know. Almay is one of those brands that they need to like step up. They need to change their whole shade range thing, because I don't know what they're doing, but they're catering to like 4 people in the world. So it's just bizarre. I don't know what is going on with that brand. Another little thing to add there is I feel like a lot of like, let's take L'Oreal for example. I feel like they're like palettes. They have like the nude palettes they came out with a couple years ago. that formula is different than like their quads formula, which is different than like singles. And so I just feel like a lot of drugstore brands, depending on what line they're releasing and what version, the shadow formula kind of differs in my opinion. Not always, but a lot of the time. So it's kind of hard to say, you know? Number 12, drugstore brand you used to love but aren't crazy about anymore, NYX for sure. And I think a lot of YouTubers are saying this too, but it's true. They were just so big back when like the NYX Face Awards was like a big thing. Or do they even still do that? I think they do. And it's not to say that necessarily their products are like bad right now or any worse than they used to be. They have a big old range. I know at my Ulta, it's like an entire aisle of NYX. It's crazy how much they have. I don't know. I just have not found myself drawn to try a lot. I tend to like a lot of NYX eyeliners, their powder foundation, their blushes. I mean, they have good products. It's just something that I have not found myself gravitating towards trying new things from them or anything like that. Number 13, drugstore product you didn't expect to like but totally wowed you. That would be this CoverGirl Olay Advanced Radiance Foundation. Now, here's the problem. Every time I mention this, and I haven't talked about it in a while, because they have another CoverGirl Olay product, but I don't think it's the same. Like, it's in the similar packaging, but it looks different. And the reason I don't think it's the same is at the store where I bought this, they have these in a row for sale, and they have a separate row of the other stuff in different packaging. And so I'm like, so they're not the same, I guess. I don't know, you guys. The reason I wasn't sure if I'd like it, I've liked CoverGirl Olay products in the past. They used to have this old concealer in a pot, and it was so good. It was like 6 or 7 years ago. It was so good and so moisturizing. But I was like, I just want to give it a shot. It's thicker than I typically like. Y'all, it is beautiful on the skin. Beautiful. Medium coverage. You can build it up to a little bit higher. It's also really pretty mixed with BB creams. I like to mix it with my Misha BB cream. So it's just a gorgeous product. Didn't expect to like it, but it makes your skin look really, really flawless. Oops, I kind of already answered this one. Number 14, favorite affordable eyeshadow palette right now. It was the ones I just showed, the ColourPop and the e.l.f. ones. Sorry, I think I was mixing two questions up, but they were the same similar questions. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna add I've got 4 extra questions I wanted to throw in that just kind of popped in my mind as I was typing out my answers for this. So number 15, what brand do you think is the most improved at the drugstore? I think CoverGirl. I feel like they clearly had been around for a long time. And so I feel like a lot of the older generations had favorites from them. Like I think of my mom, she had a favorite powder from them, a favorite mascara, etc. that she would always use and she used for probably decades. They never really changed it up. You know, they'd have new releases here and there, like CoverGirl and Olay and things, but it was never really anything groundbreaking. And nothing really seemed to try to cater to younger generations. And I definitely feel like in the past few years, they've switched it up. They became cruelty-free, started releasing, they redid a lot of their packaging, kind of cleaned things up. It just felt fresher. And I don't know who they hired or what changed, but I definitely feel like CoverGirl has had some like fresh life breathed into them. And I'm thinking of like the CoverGirl Skin Milk line. Those kinds of things are catering to what a lot of younger generations and older too, but what a lot of people are wanting right now. And so I think they're starting to get their finger on the pulse, and I think that's exciting because, you know, they do have some good products. So I just feel like CoverGirl is doing something right, and I'm excited for them. Okay, number 16, best new line of products at the drugstore, like best new release. And that has to go to the L'Oreal Age Perfect line. I have quite a few of them here. I have the Creamy Powder Foundation, their Radiant Satin Blush, their Radiant Serum Foundation, and their Radiant Concealer. I like all of these. Probably the one I like the least is the blush. I feel like it's pressed in the pan kind of hard, so it's hard to get out and onto your skin. When you do get it on your skin, it's really pretty, but that's one thing that I don't think I would ever buy another shade in this range because of that. But the concealer is nice and moisturizing. I have it on today, but you definitely need to set it with powder. But I have the Creamy Powder Foundation all over. I've been wearing the foundation like so much. I'm not wearing it today since I'm wearing the Wet n Wild one, but I just think this line is so good. Again, talk about finger on the pulse. These are marketed towards maturing skin, I'm assuming, based on the Age Perfect line. However, it's the kind of stuff that I know a lot of people, that's kind of trendy right now, right? A little bit lighter of coverage, but it definitely still has some coverage, but it's moisturizing, creamy. Oh, I'm just really digging the line, and I feel like the white and gold packaging is spot on. Beautiful. I did do a video trying these out for the first time, etc. I can link up in the eye and down below if you want to hear more about it. If maybe you're considering buying 1 or 2 of those, definitely check that video out because I share a lot of information and you get to see them in action. Okay, this one's kind of mean, but I mean it. Number 17, what drugstore brand do you feel like is kind of dying out? I don't mean that it's literally going to go away, but it's like something needs to change and stat, or maybe it will die out. And that brand is Revlon, right? Like, what's going on with Revlon? They've had new launches, but I just feel like they're missing the mark. Like, they just don't quite know what's trendy. I can't explain it other than that. Like, I've bought a couple new products I'll probably be trying the next few weeks because I'm like, I want to like Revlon. Like, I'm trying to give them a chance, and it's not, again, it's never that they don't have any good products. And I definitely love their Revlon, their new Revlon like super lustrous shine line. They nailed it with that. That was awesome. Again, it's something that kind of lip product is really popular. They nailed it with that. But I just feel like every other product is just missing the mark, you know? So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if they need to hire new people, hire younger people. Revlon, if you need a little help, I can consult. I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Revlon. I just added this one on for fun, literally because I'm wearing it today. Question number 18, what is a drugstore product that you have loved for like years, maybe over 5 years? For me, if I can find it, that'd be the Rimmel Stay Glossy lip glosses. These are like under $5. I have always loved the shade Blushing Belgraves. This is probably the second or third one I've owned of this, because if I still had my original one, it'd be disgusting. I'm not wearing it alone though. It doesn't look like this. This is over, sorry. Everything I'm wearing today is drugstore except for this. This is the NARS Satin Lip Pencil in Expiry. It's gorgeous. And that's the color you're seeing, but then my lips are always so lined and dry. I feel like I always need a gloss over it, so I have this on top. It's definitely a lighter gloss. So if you have pigmented lips like me, just know that. It's gonna look lighter than your lips most likely. But it looks so pretty over a color, and that's why I've loved it over the years. And it's just a simple lip gloss. It is not sticky at all. It's just comfortable, and that's why I've loved them over the years, so I wanted to give this a shout out. Those are all of them. Sweating as usual, but I hope that was enjoyable. I love doing these tag videos. I'm kind of loving this moment we're having on YouTube right now where makeup tags are like going around in full force, probably because we're all trapped at home and we're trying not to buy a ton of new makeup. I think it's awesome, and it's healthy for us to just kind of play with what we've got, think about how awesome some of the things we do have, and just talk about makeup. Isn't it just fun? So I challenge you to do this. If you're someone weird like me and you like to just sit in your room and look at your makeup and play with it on your own, think through these questions for your own fun, you know what I mean? And if you do have a channel, a blog, I'd love to see you do these too. Thank you, Jen, for creating this tag. It was so much fun to do. Like I said, I will link Jen's original video in her channel down below. And as I mentioned earlier, I hope that you'll subscribe. I do 3 videos a week, all kinds of different stuff here. I'd love to have you join us. And I'd also love to say hey on social media. It is at It's Jessica Braun. And other than that, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. My contact is so dry.